Hey folks, Taco, Bonsai. Welcome back to my Bonsaiverse. Uh, this one is actually one of my favorites. It was a sort of rescue willow leaf ficus. It has been having trouble. Uh, I get the feeling it's a problem with the roots. Everything else has been good. In fact, it's tried to come back out a couple times, but for some reason it is staying quite wet and is not draining the way it should be, even though it drains quite well. So I'm going to repot it into a bigger pot and see what we got going on. I've had this one for probably almost 3 years. This is not a real bonsai pot, although I think I've done a pretty good job of putting holes in it and feet. This was from a nursery, and it was originally from a bonsai nursery, but I bought it at just commercial nursery, and it was very, very, very leggy. It had lots of branches coming from the same point, so I'm still working on that. Sorry, you can see I'm still working on that, but it's doing a lot better. Uh, Now I just kind of reached a stalling out point, so I'm going to repot it and see if I can improve its health a little bit. As it is now, on top, some good stuff. You can kind of see it's got a good, decent root base. The flare seems quite nice, but underneath of that, oh, actually, just kind of fell out. It looks like good stuff, but it's really just not draining the way I want. So I'm going to give this a little bit more room to move and breathe and all that. And, well, most of the repotting's already done. I repotted this one last year, and I can see I've got some new roots on it, but it's just not doing what it needs to do. Thankfully, there's not a lot for me to be cutting off, um, but I'm hoping it'll appreciate having just larger grain soil on it. Because although this is in pretty good shape, it is still wet, and I don't think I've watered this for a couple days. It may have something to do with the being a glazed pot, but as it is, this one's developing so nicely, I do not want to lose it. See, maybe use a full with this, but I like the pot. It's just not the right pot for this tree anymore. In fact, a lot of my trees are going to be getting much larger pots. So let me pop this to the side for a minute. And I'm going to put you guys on a pause. All right. This one is not a bonsai pot per se, but I saw it. Of course, got some little howies here, and I just thought, little leaf ficus. It's a bowl. Put a hole in the bottom, and it's just a bigger rock. Cut a notch so it drained, but other than that, not a whole lot's actually been done to it. It's a much larger platform to put this in. So what I'll do is I'll flatten these out. That is rotten root. Don't want that in there. In fact, a lot of these may be rotten. I'm worried about it because of how awful it was. Yeah, these roots are no good. So I will stop there. I pulled off quite a few rotten roots there. Do not want that. I would normally do a profile prune, but in this case, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to put it in here, but I need a lot more soil. So, first and foremost, let's get a little higher up. That's better. And I'll fill in. I wasn't expecting this to be quite so quick of a repot. I did expect it to be easy. This is going to be a very fast repot. Hopefully, this thing will recover. I can see there's some splitting bark down here where I probably got some rot, but hopefully that will be a temporary thing. All right, that's almost done. I don't often find myself in a position where it's this easy, but I'm hoping that this is this easy. Even though it seems like I've got a very flat root base, I'm going to do what I always do. I'm going to give this a nice little tamp in, take out any air pockets. Could be a beautiful tree. It's not dead. It's not having the best time, but it's not dead. I don't know that I should be putting it in a pot that's like the sort of fake, not shallow. It is a much larger pot, even though it doesn't seem it. It's almost twice as big. I also don't want to run into the issue of getting too big of a pot and not having the room to fertilize, especially with the size of the root base as it is now. I might up pot it again the next time it's being repotted, but I'm going to wait for some really strong growth on that. While I'm doing this, just another little update. Unfortunately, I am, I have my apartment on the market. I am going to be moving again, hopefully, in the next couple weeks here. I'll be going back to the farm. So, unfortunately, things like, ailing, that's a piece of this. Ailing trees are probably going to have to not make their way with me. All right, I think that's pretty well potted. Give it a water in. Yeah, trees like this I'd really like to keep as long as they're close enough to good health. I will keep them. I don't know if you folks can see, but it's already draining out nicely. I'm going to keep going. I'm hoping that this drains a lot better and a lot healthier of a tree. All right, that's probably good. That's a lot of water. Yeah, so this one will stay. But a lot of my other trees will probably end up not coming with me. Well, let's zoom back out and scoot you all over. There, probably should have paused for that. That's all right. Whole process, right? So it doesn't seem like it's that much bigger, but it's a much, much larger pot. This is what it was in before. It's, again, not awful. It's certainly not the best. I'll probably keep it. Maybe I won't actually. Maybe I'll just give it away. But this gives it more room to grow. What it originally came in, I still have. It originally came in this pot. Now, I like this pot, but I just don't think it's the right pot for this tree. I will be keeping it because it's a good size. I think it's like a 6-inch pot, perfectly round, of course scalped. It is a mass-produced pot. It's not a particularly desirable color, although I don't mind the color on it. It has some sort of, nice stuff to it. But going from this, it went even smaller into a little PVC cap pot I used, and now it's in this one, or then it went to this one, and now it's in this larger one. This is not a permanent pot. It's very brittle, bowl, whatever it is. It was not high fired, which is okay for a tropical like this. It is glazed on the inside, but this is a hardly glazed pot, and I think it's pretty. So I will let it grow like this. I think it's suited aesthetic-wise. I still want my trees to look good even while I am developing them. And I'm keeping in mind that as I work with this tree, there's a couple things I'm trying to get rid of. I'm trying to get rid of the inverse taper I've got here. I'm trying to grow these branches out so that they got better taper. This will probably be 2 trunks, and that will probably be a back branch. So honestly, you're probably looking at the back of it right now. And the front would be right about there. So I'm trying to get rid of this reverse taper. I'm trying to heal up wounds. This wound is older than my time with the tree. There's one in the back here that's healing quite nicely. I'm just letting this grow, if it will. It did have leaves on it at the end of the summer, but for a combination of anything going on with me, stress of moving back and forth, and then also not having outdoor light, it has really been ailing. So I'm hoping that I can put this back under the grow lights, back in the window, and it will take back off again. My other trees that I've replanted this season, let's see, I did a couple of Ficus, Benjamina, maybe, and then the Ficus elastica and the Picura aquatica. They've all been doing okay. I did put up the root cutting off of the Wiggly Boy Ficus, so we'll see if that grows. I don't think it will, but can't hurt anything. And everything's kind of being consolidated. I did have the other much smaller Willow Ficus. I did decide to call it quits on that one. It had great healthy roots, but it just would not come out topside. I don't know what the reason for that is. This one hopefully will. It's a much bigger tree. I'm not sure if I call it healthier, but it's a much larger tree. It's got more energy stored in its trunk. I'm just hoping that the trunk continues to be healthy. I really want to see this one take off and go. It could be a great tree someday, but I've just really got to be patient, and hopefully I'll get some good bark on it. Again, I don't know how old it is per se, but I know that with the time that I've got it, it hasn't grown very much, and it does look pretty good. My next repot will definitely be my variegated Ficus benjamina, the one that's in the terracotta colored pot right now. I don't know which pot I'll put that in, but it'll probably be a smaller pot than it's in, just not a teeny tiny pot. I'll just have to see once I get those roots out. I really can't tell what I'm going to put a tree in as far as pots until I've got them out of the pot. I'm looking at it. Even with this, I had it set up, but I didn't know for sure that's the pot I would use. I've got taller ones, I've got different shaped ones, but I just wasn't sure about that. And at this time, that's all I've got. I've just kind of been rambling, but soon I will either be repotting or I'll be moving all my trees, one of the two. Um, if I do move all my trees, you'll probably get more content, but it may not be these trees, the large real trees that I'm trimming. Because again, fall, it's time to trim some trees that I want to be beautiful, that are in my horse fields, that are in my woods, that are on my tree line. So it'll be very exciting to use the principles, practices, and discipline from these trees on full-size trees that I have outside. I don't know how many people do that, but I do see some very well-trimmed trees where I'm like, yeah, someone was following all the rules. Of course, I won't be doing root pruning, but I will certainly be working on making sure that I'm keeping things healthy and safe and strong and beautiful. So thanks again for watching. It is my hope that I will have some more content for you soon, but if not, take care of yourselves. Cheers.